Sigmar, the GHB is dead. Long live the GHB. We are free. We are free of the tunnels under Galay.
Well, I mean, mostly.
We're free with the rules that came with
There
the
we
tunnels
go.
under Galay. So what we're here to talk about today is the new General's Handbook. This is 2023 Season 2 for Age of Sigmar, of course. This is your matched play handbook.
Yeah. Your tournament rules.
Your match play legal rules.
Yeah.
And this comes with, among other things, new battle strategies, new battle tactics, new grand strategies, and the removal of the hated Galatian veterans and bounty
It wasn't
hunters.
just us, right?
No, it was not just us.
Okay, cool.
A lot of people.
You're more in the know than I am.
If it was just us, I don't apologize.
Oh, okay, fine.
If you loved bounty hunters and Galatian veterans, why? Let me know below, like legitimately. Why did you love that? Because
Why are you a Nurgle player?
if you're not Brian W, why did you love that old one? So, much of this has been previewed already.
Yeah.
But there's a few things that are different than what they previewed,
Yeah.
and a few things they did not preview. So let's talk about the things that are different, which I think is just the heroic actions.
I think so.
Previously, they'd previewed that one of the heroic actions was if you go second, you can have your hero strike first in the hero phase. Your Galatian champion hero, who, if you need a reminder, Galatian champions are 10 wounds or less, not mounted. Or is it less than 10 wounds?
I believe it is
Less than 10 wounds.
less than 10 wounds.
Not mounted and not unique.
Yeah. So no named characters.
Right. Gain the Galatian champion keyword. That keyword by itself, the only thing it does, unlike Galatian veterans, is it's only buffs.
Yeah.
Because it's you cannot be targeted with a missile weapon if you're within 1 inch of a friendly battle line unit. So a little more restricted than 40k's lookouts are.
True.
They told us that if you go second, you can pick a heroic action to fight in the hero phase with your Galatian champion.
Right.
They technically weren't lying.
Yeah, but you
Because
can also do it if you go
that.
first.
Yeah. What the actual text is if you're taking the second turn in the current battle round, at the start of your hero phase, you can pick one Galatian champion on the battlefield to carry out 2 different heroic actions instead of 1. So that is still a buff to going second.
Yes.
But the fact is that there's 2, in addition to all the normal heroic actions, there's 2 new ones, both of which we've seen previewed.
Yeah.
Strike at the opening, which is pick one friendly Galatian champion within 3 inches of an enemy unit. That hero can fight if it has not already fought in this phase and cannot fight again in that phase, and they get strike glass until the end of the turn. We talked about how this was a huge buff to going second.
Yeah.
The fact that both players can do it,
Yeah, it makes it a little weird.
much less of a buff to going second.
Yes, much less of a buff to going second. It also makes it a little bit weird because then, I mean, I know there is an order, but I don't know it. Who gets to pick who goes first?
The player whose turn it is.
The player
picks
whose turn
first.
it is?
Yes.
So the player whose turn it is would then get to go like, okay, well, I'm going to fight you first.
With their Galatian champion.
Right.
And there is a reason you want to have 2 Galatian champions fighting each other.
Yeah.
So this is less of a big, huge buff to going second than we thought it was.
Yeah.
Which is kind of a bummer.
See, I am of the opinion that going second is generally stronger anyway. So
It is.
I'm okay with it being less powerful than we thought.
This is true.
Yeah.
This is true. It is in turn 1.
Yeah.
In turn 2, there's almost no... The problem with Age of Sigmar is that the ideal is you go second in turn 1 and first in turn 2. Almost for almost all armies, because that gives you the dreaded double turn.
Right.
This doesn't address that.
Right.
The other heroic action, which we previously talked about, is if you do pick somebody to do that, you can then pick one of their sworn bodyguards to also fight. Nothing new with that.
So you can only do that with one, and if you're going second. That's the one you can only do if you're going
Yes,
second.
that's the one, because you need 2 actions to be able to do it.
Yeah.
Because you need to be, it's 2 separate hero actions. So I guess there is still that. And most foot heroes are not amazing beat sticks by themselves.
Not usually.
There are
Especially
a few.
with 9 wounds or less.
Fire Slayers. There are some. I was gonna say like Eltharion, but he's a unique. He doesn't get that. So most non-unique foot heroes are not gonna be deadly. They want their bodyguards.
Yeah.
So that still is a bonus, but it's not as big as we thought. Moving on, the Realm Sphere magic spell called the Grinding Teeth of Galay. Casting value of 6, range of 12. Pick one objective within range and visible to the caster, then roll a dice for each unit within 6 inches of that objective, friend or foe. On a 4-up, that unit gets d6 more wounds. range 12 bad. 4 up for each unit bad. 6 is that objective, including if it's your own unit bad, and D6 bad, because all of these things are bad.
D6 is better than it could have been. It could have been D3 or 1.
Sure, it could have been worse, but it's still not good. I hate playing the Dreadlord on Black Dragon. Made me hate D6s.
Yeah,
because the bite attack is a D6 damage attack, and you'd always roll that too. Anything less than a 4 makes you feel bad.
Fair.
So that's not a great spell. You'll never use it probably,
unless like they have like 5 units on one objective,
and you are somehow within 12 inches and with your caster.
Yeah. And you have really good dice.
Yeah. And you only need a 6. That's not too hard.
Or you need a 4 up and then a 6.
Yeah. Yeah, 6 then a 4 up. That's the problem.
Yeah.
The Realm Command, no retreat, no surrender. Functionally, this is the one where you can pick one of your units who is not a hero or a monster, so no heroes at all, including Galatian champions.
Interesting.
That did not charge already and is already within 3 inches of an enemy unit. So you have to basically have been in combat from the turn previously.
Yeah.
And it's at the start of the combat phase. That unit can't make pile-in moves in that phase, but add 1 to the attack characteristics of melee weapons used by that unit until the end of the phase, excluding mounts. And most damage-dealing cavalry in Age of Sigmar wants its mounts to get buffed too. So this really is kind of infantry.
Yeah, it is. It is mostly infantry, and I'm assuming that's the way they're leaning anyway.
Yes, well, obviously
with the whole thing. I don't think it matters as much.
There are certain counterpunch units that love this.
Yeah.
You charge into my
Sorry, I meant I don't think it matters the mounts don't get.
Oh. It depends a lot on your army, I think. I'm thinking like Dracothian Guard.
Yeah, and I'm thinking stuff like vampires and like Slanesh, and it's like, we don't really care if our mounts attack.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. It depends a lot on your army.
Depends on your army.
There are certain, as far as things that like this, there are certain counterpunch units. Units, because if it's your turn, you can only use this on somebody who didn't charge. So, and chargers get to fight first, right? The player whose turn it is gets to fight first with their chargers, with a charger. Excuse me. If it's not your turn, you can still use this as a command ability.
It's true.
So if it's not your turn and someone has charged you, you can use this.
That's a good point.
If you have a durable unit who you are fairly certain is going to be able to punch back, this might be worth using.
It's true.
The threat of this can make durable units scarier. So Phoenix Guard, if you're charging my Phoenix Guard and I use this, that's a pretty good one to use because, like, okay, I'm fairly certain you're not going to kill my Phoenix Guard, and I'm going to beat the crap out of you in return. Hearthguard Berserkers, Annihilators.
Potentially Graveguard, depending on buffs.
And, of course, it all depends on what you get charged by.
Yeah.
If you get charged by a Maw Crusher, well, it doesn't really matter what you're using it on. It's probably going to get eaten.
Yeah.
So that's it. That's the Realm Command. Better than the Realm Spell.
Yeah, true.
Now, the core battalions. 2 of these we know. One of them is the ability to make somebody a bodyguard for your champion. That one gets the champion and 1 infantry unit. Unit with a wounds characteristic of 4 or less that is not leader, artillery, or behemoth and has no mounts. The Galatian command needs 1 hero, 1 infantry. We knew what that was. Galatian sharpshooters, we'd heard of this one. This is the one that allows ranged units to ignore that no shooting somebody within 1 inch rule.
Right.
But this one requires 3 and only 3 missile units to be in it. And it's infantry missile units.
Right.
So no outriders.
Okay. So technically they don't have to be missile units, but they don't get the benefit unless they are. So if you have 1 missile unit, you can put 2 non-missile units just to get the...
That is technically very true. I didn't think about that.
Granted, the more missile units you have in it, the better.
Right.
But if you only want to take 1 or 2 units, you don't need to,
Yeah, because there's no definition of what a missile unit is.
Right. It's just if...
That's a community definition, not a real one.
Right.
So that's a good point. You could use that. But in either case, you have to have 3 in there.
Yeah.
Which matters because that's not a 1-drop unit.
That's true.
You're going to want to bring a Galatian sharpshooters if you can, because that's the only way you're going to be able to target your opponent's support heroes or combat heroes who are hiding behind battle line.
Right.
But if you do that, you are giving up or gambling on things like the 1-drop battalion. So this does do more to defeat the race to 1.
Right.
Right?
Definitely more than the last GHB.
Yes. They tried.
and it didn't work.
Hashtag you tried. There was an attempt, gold star. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that one, that one's great.
I also like this in comparison to that because it is counteracting the buff that they got rather than just being a like the from the last book, the Galatian veterans got a buff, and then the anti-Galatian veterans thing was just like
Debuffed them.
in addition.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care if you got the buff, screw you.
Yeah. You also didn't get to choose whether you were a Galatian veteran.
Right.
And yeah.
So you don't get to choose if you're a Galatian champion.
This is true.
But it doesn't matter.
It doesn't hurt you.
No. It doesn't actively hurt you.
Because if your opponent brings this battle line, all they're doing is resetting status quo
to what it was.
Right. So it's not nearly as I don't know, infuriating.
Yeah.
Is the word I'd use.
Yeah, that's what I would use too.
And the fact that it requires 3 units to be in it.
Yeah.
3 infantry units. This also does mean that giants don't get to play.
Good.
So giants can't throw rocks into your heroes.
Also good.
And then finally we have the one we had not seen before.
No, watch, they're gonna get like an update that's like, oh well, giants I guess can just take 3 of anything.
Why would you suggest that, Mitchell?
I want to watch the world burn.
Okay. The last one, the one we had not seen before.
Yep.
Galatian veterans. So this is 2 to 4 infantry units.
Mm-hmm.
Bonds of battle. This is basically, we lost the fight by rank thing from last GHV.
Which was the only good thing about that book.
Yeah, which was adding the ability for everyone to play like Skaven.
Yeah.
Which is if you're within a half inch of somebody who gets to fight, or well, in that one it was everyone gets another inch if you have a certain number of people. This one basically just adds the 40k rules.
Yeah, it's a half inch instead of an inch. But other than that, it's...
if you're within half inch of a model that is fighting, you get to fight. Or well, if you're half an inch of a model that is within half inch of the target.
Yeah, because otherwise it would just flow all the way back.
So that is an interesting verbiage there, because most weapon ranges have an inch.
Right.
This
so you
requires
have to be
to be
closer.
Yes.
Than your maximum range.
It also stops people from doing the hide outside of 2 inches thing.
It's true.
But basically this re-adds that, so certain armies will love that.
I know, I love it.
Yeah.
But Skaven and Undead both will love that.
Well, Skaven have it already.
To an extent, they have extra range on their weapons.
Yes, functionally, Skaven have a better version of this.
Not necessarily.
In
small units, this still works for.
Sure.
Like what are they called? The flaily
plague sensor bearers?
Yeah, sensor bearers. Would not get that, but do get this.
Cause I guess Skaven has to be more than 10, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you could put your plague sensor bearers in this.
Yeah. Or like a 10-man unit of whatever they're called. Plague monks.
Plague monks.
Yeah. So you can get 2 ranks in when you might not be able to get them. But yes, normally if you go and do like a huge giant unit that's like a Death Star, then it wouldn't matter. But for death, I'm really liking this for.
I imagine, yeah.
For Soulblight.
The artifacts, are any of these that stick out to you?
Well, obviously, they already brought it up. I know it was partially in the preview. Is there's a 5 of board save,
and these artifacts are only for Galatian champions.
Yes, which is important because they nerfed Amulet.
Yes.
And now they brought it back, but only for foot heroes.
They nerfed Amulet because you could put it on your flippin' Maw Crusher.
Yeah.
But this is only for those foot heroes.
I definitely put it on a vampire on zombie dragon.
Everyone did.
Yeah.
That was what you did.
Yeah. But this is for only foot heroes, so it's fixed.
It's a better. It's not nearly as oppressive, right?
Yeah.
This is a counter to the sharpshooter thing.
Yeah.
Because now your guy, okay, my guy can't be shot if he doesn't an inch. Well, I'm bringing my sharpshooters. Well, I'm putting a 5-up ward.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't completely counter the sharpshooters.
Sure.
Some sharpshooters, long strikes won't care at all. But every little bit helps.
Yeah. That is obviously the one that jumps out to me because it was a thing that they nerfed and they brought back. But
yep. Tusk Helm is just impact mortals.
Yep.
4-up impact mortals.
And they don't stack.
Yes, they do not stack. Again, that can only be on infantry champions who basically never had impact mortals anyway.
That's true. Except what you said, Nighthaunt.
Well, I mean, Nighthaunt, they don't have the mortals. They have other buffs that happen. Right?
Sure.
Nightfire.
I thought they had mortals on like a 5 or less.
I think they do.
Like that. Yeah.
And the Nightflyer Cloak is basically everyone gets to pretend to be a Skaven weapons team.
Mm-hmm.
You can hide your guy in a unit, a battle line unit, and then pop out of a battle line unit within an inch of that unit and 9 inches away from all enemy units. So, you can hide them if you're worried about them getting alpha striked off the field by sharpshooters.
Yeah, which is also a counter to sharpshooters.
Yeah. So, I like that they put 2 soft counters to sharpshooters as options.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can put that Nightflyer Cloak on your wizard if you're worried about them getting shot off the board turn 1.
Right.
Now the downside is at the end of the movement phase, so you wouldn't be able to bring people into the hero phase.
Yeah, you wouldn't be able to bring them in and then cast.
Right. But for combat heroes, this would be a great way to stop them from getting shot off the board before they can charge.
Before they can get there.
And the nice thing is the unlike weapons teams, you don't have to select what battle line unit.
That's true.
You can just
they're off the board. Don't worry about it.
Yeah,
they can come in on any. You spread them all out.
In Skaven, there's that game of, well, which one is it? And this was just like, yeah, it's one of them. No, you don't get to know.
Yeah, it's the same thing, but I don't have to tell you.
Well, and if they kill one, you don't have to go, oh, I guess you found the right one.
Oh no, like the thing in getting sidetracked, but the thing in Skaven where it's like, oh, if your unit dies and it had a thing, then the weapons team pops out.
Yeah,
I don't have to care about that.
Nope. And then unique enhancements. Tunnelmancer is a Tunnel Master is a teleport for your Galatian vet, or sorry, your Galatian champ. There's gonna be a lot of me saying that. Galatian champ gets a teleport more than 9 inches. Standard teleport rule. It's instead of a normal move, so no retreating out of combat with it, which is good.
Yeah.
But teleports are great. That can help with some of the strategies that we're gonna talk about. Fueled by Gurish Rage. That is almost word for word the effect of the Griffin, Free Guild General on Griffin.
Really?
Yes. Which is, instead of dying on a 3-up, you don't die, you heal D3 wounds.
I mean, they do that on a bunch of stuff, like Necrons have that in 40k, and I think one of the Death Actions might have that.
Okay.
But
it's not uncommon. The Griffin thing is Tunnel Master plus Fueled by Gurish Raid put together.
Oh, cool.
So
gross.
Yeah. It only happens once.
Yeah.
Stubbornness or Rhinox is you count as 10 models.
Which can be awesome.
Yep.
I have definitely lost points because I have a hero there, and it's like, well, he's one model.
And then Leadership of the Alpha once per battle. This is the great one. Once per battle, your champion, Galatian champion, can issue one of the following commands up to 3 times in the same phase. Rally. So that's, bring your guys back. All out attack, all out defense, which is +1 that's hit or +1 to save. And redeploy.
Yeah.
If it does so, no command point is spent the second and third times this Galatian champion issues that command.
Yeah. If I had to guess, that's going to be the one that's busted. That's going to be the one that everybody takes and they have to nerf it.
Because you can just put that on a foot hero who's in the middle of some people. Maybe it's a hero like Daughters of Cain who already wants to be by those units buffing them. The Melusai, Iron Scale Melusai, already wants to be by the Snicks so they can shoot.
Yep. And
she goes, yeah, you, and you. Everyone gets all out attack. Go.
Rather than, ooh, do I use it over here?
Yeah, nope, none of that. Yep. That's also a friend of the show, Kevin, brought up that is yet another dunking on Karajan Overlords. Because Karajan Overlords really like to tease out all-out defense. Because they need to get through to something. So the idea is to try and tease it out over here, but actually you're hitting over here. Now they can just go, oh, you are hitting over there. Well, they get it too.
Yeah. Oh, just these 3.
Sad dwarf goes here. So yeah, that one's the one I think is going to be ended up taken by a lot of people.
Yeah.
Because the 9-inch teleport is interesting, but
also correct me if I'm wrong, but these are just enhancements.
Yes.
So these aren't like, what are they called? They're not command traits. They're just enhancements. So you just get one.
Yeah.
Each time you take an aspect, pick one. You can always take one aspect of the champion in your army.
This is like mount traits.
Yeah. So I was thinking when
this is mount traits for people who don't have mounts.
It totally is.
Yeah, that's all. That's exactly what it is. Gosh darn it!
And that one, if you take a champion, unless you have a good reason, you take that one.
Maybe a good reason could be a lot of different things.
Yeah. I mean,
but that's
like
probably
a strategy or something to use it. But man, that one's good.
Yeah. Well, you can only pick one. You can always take one aspect of the champion, so you can't put it on every champion you have.
No, I know.
Yeah. But you're probably going to pick that one as a default. Yep. Unless you're trying to build a beat stick bruiser who wants to teleport somewhere.
True.
And get into the back lines and just
Yeah, mess something up.
Rage charge somebody. Because you can use that turn 1.
Yeah.
That would be a great way to, you couldn't have your battle line follow you. But there are some things like in Fire Slayers where the priest can teleport people but can't teleport himself.
That's true.
Gnaw holes in Skaven.
Yep, that's what I was thinking.
I can only send one unit through, but then I can follow them.
Yeah.
And suddenly I've got a unit of Storm Vermin and his Claw Lord right there.
Yeah, I have that problem in, I know it's not Sigmar, but 40k with Necrons, because they have a lot of teleport shenanigans, but most of them are like once per game.
Yeah.
Or at least once per turn. So I can't like send a guy through a monolith and a unit that he buffed. Blah, blah, blah. Anyway.
So grand strategies. A lot of these are the same.
Yeah.
So controlling all objectives on the battlefield that are wholly outside. No units within yours. More of us than them. I think the only ones that are super different. 3 Galatian
half
champions.
of them are specific to Galatian champions.
3 Galatian champions wholly within enemy territory. That's the same thing like veterans, except better because champions are better than veterans. Battle ends grand strategy. If this model picked to be your general is a Galatian champion, and that model is contesting an objective. Yeah, none of these are super. I don't know. None of these stand out to me as good or bad. They're all fine.
Yeah, I mean the grand strategies are always weird because it's like they can't make them too easy, or everyone will pick that.
Well, they did for the first GHP.
Yeah, that's true.
For 3.0, which was leading a lot of people to say, well, they should be harder.
Yeah.
And then one of the things a lot of people liked about the second GHB was they're harder, and then it turned out that GHB had so many other problems that people didn't care anymore.
That's fair. I'm okay with them being harder. Like they shouldn't be auto succeeds.
Like speaking of not being auto succeeds, battle tactics.
Yeah.
These ones are generally harder because a lot of these are reprints of season 1, but with something added that makes them more difficult.
Yeah.
So the very first one, gaining momentum, you complete this battle tactic if you destroy a unit and you control more objectives than your opponent. So not just destroy a unit, and you have to play the objective, apparently.
Oh my god.
Eye for an eye is exactly the same, though.
Yeah.
Desecrate their lands is exactly the same. This one, mine, is exactly the same. Matter of Honor is the samurai duel between your Galatian champions.
Your champion or bodyguard.
Yes.
And they killed a champion.
Wait,
am I wrong? Complete this battle tactic destroyed. If that unit is destroyed, so pick an enemy champion or bodyguard.
Yes.
If they are killed by a champion or bodyguard, you get the points. So yeah,
samurai fight, but everybody's cheating, I guess.
Yeah.
You complete this battle tactic if at least 3 of the objectives you control are in enemy territory and are each contested by any friendly Galatian champions. So a lot of these are all about getting into your opponent's territory.
Yeah. You want people to get to each other, not turtle.
Yes, which is good. I like that.
I agree.
People are pointing out that this has been some weeping and gnashing of teeth with LVO coming up, and I think it was CanCon just happened.
Okay.
That a lot of these are harder than the book battle tactics.
Okay.
Which is because that depends on where your book's at and which battle tactics you rolled.
Or if you have any.
Yeah. I don't see any here that are particularly wonderful or particularly dumb. The cunning maneuvers where you pick one friendly Galatian champion on the battlefield that is more than 3 inches from all enemy units. You complete this tactic if at the end of the turn he's still more than 3 inches from all enemy units and has an objective. That's outside your territory. That's just pick a guy and stand on it.
Yeah. It's like, oh, well, I'm going to run this guy here.
Well, I think it's supposed to be that he kills a guy, a unit off an objective.
That's not what that says.
It does not. It's just...
It's a cunning maneuver to stand there.
Yeah. T-posing for dominance.
No, not T-posing.
We did lose the T-pose for dominance in the middle of the board strategy.
That's true. Which I'm okay with.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. I don't miss... So that's all the new stuff.
That's all I need.
There's also the new battle plans. We won't go into depth on those today because that's its own show, and we've been here for a while already. Is there anything we missed from the old GHB?
The only thing we already talked about. The only thing that I missed is the fighting in 2 ranks, and we got it.
Yeah. So is there anything we missed from the old GHB?
No, not me.
Yeah,
I got nothing.
Rest in piss, you stupid GHB. Like I can't think of anything else to say.
The old one was so bad. We trashed on it every time we could.
Yeah, and we were hopeful for the last one when it came out.
Yeah.
We're also hopeful for this one.
Yes.
I'd like to think we have the benefit of hindsight in that our hope is not misplaced this time.
Right. Like there's nothing that I can see that's like, oh, well, now these foot heroes are bad, so you got to stop taking them.
This one, I'm actually excited to build armies in a different way than I was before.
Right. And the only thing that I was looking forward to in the last one was double damage against Galatian veterans, and then everybody stopped taking the Galatian veterans. It didn't matter.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay, so I don't get to play with my troops. Anyway,
that's it from us this week. Let us know below if you're as excited as we are.
Yeah.
If you're as hopeful as we are.
If you're looking forward to this, let us know. If you really miss the old one, tell us why you're wrong.
Yeah.
Let us know in detail at what point you were dropped on your head.
Wow. Wow.
Okay. Not
Wow.
That was too far. Anyway, yeah, let us know what you think about the change, and
we'll report back after we've played more games.
yeah, I definitely need to play a game with this. I don't know who first though. Ooh.
We'll see you next time.
Bye.